Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, the head football coach for the San Jacinto Tigers, coming off a big win against Rancho Verde to kind of build some momentum going into another big game coming up this week. It's Aric Galliano. And coach, man, it's all good in the Jack this week, right? Coming off that big win against the Mustangs, but you guys got to reload pretty quickly, don't you?
Yeah, we're going through the gauntlet right now. We're having Rancho Verde, and then before that, Yorba Linda, and then before that, Culver City. So, it's the tough non-league I put us through to hopefully prepare us for the playoffs.
So before we talk about this matchup with Cajon, going back to that Rancho Verde game, I figured from the outside looking in, I figured it was going to be high scoring because there's just so many great offensive players on both sides, on both teams. What did you think of that matchup? What did you like about your offense? Did you want to see more from your defense? Like, what did you think about that game with the Mustangs?
I think we took a little bit of a step back defensively, gave up some big plays to give them some momentum, which they were looking for. Talking with Coach Zolmal, who does a great job over there. They were trying to build momentum offensively, and we had some busts that we did that created some momentum for them. And it put us in a nail biter game until the end, where we can eventually, lean on them with our run game and finally pull away.
So, Coach, looking ahead now to Cajon, this is another game that'll probably have plenty of fireworks. I mean, there's so many talented guys on the field in this one. This is obviously not a slight to Rancho Verde or Yorba Linda or anybody else on your schedule, but when you looked at your non-league, did you say, okay, Cajon's going to be our real, our litmus test. Where are we? Are we good enough? Or where do we have weaknesses? Like, where do we need to improve? Like, did you kind of circle this game on the schedule a while ago?
Yeah, our biggest thing with our non-league is we try to put together, different types of teams of different offenses and defenses that we're going to play, because you never know who we're going to get in the playoffs. In Culver City, who's very similar to a Cajon with athletes everywhere. Yorba Linda is a smash mouth team. Rancho Verde is a mixture of both, and Cajon is going to have athletes everywhere, fast across the field, both offensively and defensively. It causes us some issues, so we can see where our deficiencies are, and hopefully we can adjust those as we move forward, through league, and then hopefully making a playoff run.
Speaking about the Cowboys, we talked to Nick Rogers right before the season began. And he basically has he said his best offensive line that he's ever had. And he's got all his skill guys back, including his quarterback. He was trying to compare them to the 2017 Jaden Daniels offense, but trying not to put that expectation on them. But he said they're going to be really, really good this year. You were just talking about your defense and what, maybe some areas they want to clean up, after that Rancho Verde game. Defensively, when you go up against a team like Cajon, do you pick your poison? Do you try to, focus on one guy? Like, how do you stop an offense like that?
Yeah, our ultimate goal is to stop the run. That kind of placates everything and getting stuff going. And so we put a lot of emphasis on trying to stop the run for every opponent that we do, that we play against. So it's making those adjustments. They have to fire that O-line is no joke. They're physical. They get out and run, athletic. So we have our hands full with them. And so, I remember those years with Jaden Daniels. I think I kicked it off in 2015. Him as a freshman year was my first year as head coach. And, they beat us in the playoffs here. And, hopefully we get a little payback this week.
All right, let's flip it to your side of the football offensively. Obviously, Jalen Patterson's a special talent at quarterback. You seem to always have receivers and running backs. And, what have you liked about your offense through the first couple of games of the year?
I think the physicality that we're playing with up front. We have 5 returners, been in our program as far as offense line. A lot of them playing D-line. We kind of made the transition to have those guys go both ways in order for us to be as successful as we can on offense. And so the physicality of what we're playing with up front, we're breaking in a new running back. He started for us last year as our wing back, but now he's getting the bulk of the carries. And then having, Jalen back there that makes everything a little bit easier for a lot of those guys when we make mistakes. That's something that a lot of teams have to account for or can account for in their game plan is him ad-libbing and making things happen.
All right, Coach. So you guys are going to be home for Cajon. I did want to ask about your home field because it has or will be renamed, right? Like, is it Bill Powell Stadium or Bill Powell Field, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, Bill's the head coach here for 18 years. He worked in our district for over 30. Um, Going into the season or going into last year, at the end of the year, I sat down and met with our superintendent and one of our school board members, and I thought it'd be a good gesture on my part and the football program's part to name the field after him. And the school board and the district decided that was a great idea, and so we are. He actually is the head coach at Green Valley in Las Vegas. So he has a bye this week, so this is why we're doing it this week. So he's coming out for the game, so we can do a big commemorative celebration for him, which is awesome. The amount of things that he's done for the kids here in our community that I'm trying to continue is really good.
All right, Coach, finally, when you look at the big picture for this team, obviously you want to see them getting better week by week and peaking, right, by the time you get to playoffs. I mean, do you like where the team is at right now? Do you still feel like, hey, we're doing a lot of things well, but the exciting part is we can still do a lot of other things even better? Like, we could be a better version of ourselves in like 4, 5, 6 weeks down the road.
Absolutely. We tailor our camp, like our fall camp and our preseason into hopefully, hitting our stride by week 7, week 8, week 9, before we get into the playoffs. We've made tremendous strides from our Beaumont game, to Culver City, and then from Culver City to Yorba Linda, and then to Rancho Verde. It's now this week Cajon. Like, we're going through a gauntlet. I want the kids to see all different types of styles of football. So hopefully it prepares us for what gets thrown at us in the playoffs, because you never know. Just preparing our kids as best as possible, so they can be successful on the field.
All right. Well, he's live from a golf cart deep in the Jack. It's Aric Galliano, the head football coach for the San Jacinto Tigers. Coach, always appreciate the time. You always jump on here at last on a whim, on last minute. And I appreciate
Absolutely.
it for always making time for us.
No, I appreciate everything you guys do for high school football. It wouldn't be the same without you guys. I'm so glad you guys continue to do so and give us the publicity that the high school football players in our area, the IE, that they deserve and that they get.
Well, we will be covering the game on Friday. There might even be a Pep appearance out there in the Jack this Friday. So
Pep's always welcome at the
Jack. All right, that's Aric Galliano, the head football coach of the San Jacinto Tigers, here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.